Hello, Sages! It's great to see you today. Welcome to Sage Advice for Daily Life. This is a new weekly wellness experience to support you during COVID. So, today I'll be discussing some tips for mindful eating. So, hi everyone. If I haven't met you before, I'm Dr. Martin. I'm a psychologist in Gainesville, Florida, where I have the honor of helping people create lives that they feel really passionate about. So welcome to the first event today. Please go ahead and add a comment about where you're watching from today so I can know and get to see more about you. So you might have seen the meme that says, COVID-19 is the new freshman 15. That really made me laugh because I could definitely relate. I was noticing that I was actually stress eating a little more than I normally have, and it really felt directly correlated to what's happening right now in the world. And so, in times of stress, we really are prone to reverting back to old habits. And for many of us, this can include stress eating, which can lead to some weight gain, negative self talk, or just some body image concerns. Food can be really comforting, and that's a really positive thing. Oftentimes, the reasons why we're drawn to foods that are our favorites is because there's a positive memory associated with it from our past. But we want to make sure that if we're eating food in a way that feels comforting or soothing, we're doing it in a way that's purposeful and a way that's mindful. But what is mindfulness? So, mindfulness is our ability to live in the present moment. Have you ever been driving a car and you get to your destination and you realize, uh-oh, the last 5 minutes have passed and I don't remember where I was or what I was doing? So that's an example of living on autopilot, where living mindfully or living in the moment can be our ability to recognize how can I be specifically noticing this moment right now? How can I live in the now? It helps us to be aware of what's happening with our bodies and in our environment in this specific moment. So, how do I know if I'm actually being mindful? So, living in the now means that we can focus on what's happening today rather than living in the future, predicting, planning, preparing for something, or living in the past, which means we're replaying situations that happened before, really wondering what's going on there. Being able to tap into moments of mindfulness means that when we're outside, we might feel the sun warming our skin. We might notice the breeze going through our hair as we're driving. Oh, driving. Do you remember driving? I haven't driven in so long. Also, we might notice the ladybug on the grass next to us or the coolness of the grass in our feet as we're walking through. So, being mindful is something that we strive towards. We have moments of mindfulness versus always living mindfully 24/7. I feel like if there are a few minutes a day or a few moments when I'm eating when it can be mindful, perfect. That's the goal here. So, there are a few tenets of mindfulness that I want to point out because these are some things that we're going to weave into our mindful eating. So, one of them is non judgmentalness. So, if I'm being mindful, it's the ability to notice how do I investigate what's going on with curiosity and with openness rather than judgment, without labeling this experience or this food as good or bad or right or wrong, but rather just noticing it, investigating. Also, mindful eating includes seeing things with a childlike mind or a beginner's mind. So when you are around little kids, or actually puppies like my puppy, when they experience something new, there's so much joy and wonder and excitement. And that's the same feeling that we want to have when we're experiencing our food as well. So how can I pretend and really enjoy this food as if it were my first time? That's how I feel when I eat some chocolate, especially. I can really savor that, but more of the traditional meals, I have trouble with that. So this is good practice for me to use the mindful eating in those types of moments in addition to when I'm eating my desserts. Also, one of the tenets of mindfulness is non-striving. So how can I be rather than do? So with non-striving, we're not trying to achieve a goal in any way. We're just trying to experience and enjoy what's happening to us right now. So the goal of mindful eating is not to finish the meal. It's not to be able to check that off so we can go on to the next activity. It's that how can I really enjoy the moment of eating and savor and taste all of my food, and that being the experience and that being enough. So I want us to practice right now. You might have seen the invitation to grab a snack. So here I have some trail mix. So go ahead and grab a snack if you haven't yet. It can be a piece of chocolate, it can be a granola bar, anything really counts. So from here, of my things, let's see, I'll just grab a handful. So I want you to take your food in your hand and just start noticing it. Pretend you've never seen this food before, as if it just dropped from the heavens and landed here as this goodness in front of you. So So as you're here holding this, I want you to feel the weight of the food. Is there a sound it makes as it's touching each other? And see if you can even grab an individual object if you've got multiple in your hand. Smell it. What do you notice in your mouth or in your stomach happening as you smell this food? Are there differences when you smell it in your left versus your right nostril? Also, what are the different aromas that are coming up as well? Also, as you hold it in your hands, I want you to feel the density of the food. How squishy or soft is it? Sticky? Notice the colors. Are there changes in the ridges? Is it smooth all over? What parts might feel pokey or soft? Again, I want you to now bring it to your lip. Does your hand know where to go when it finds your lip? And is anything happening in your body as you're practicing that? Next, I want you to place the food in your mouth and don't do anything. Just have it there on your tongue. What are you noticing? Slowly start to chew the food without swallowing, as slowly as you can, and see what changes. Does the quality of the density of the texture change? What aromas might be stronger or less strong as you try this? And when you're ready, slowly let the food pass down and see if you can feel it traveling. If you have something else in your hand, you can try that on your own for a few more seconds. So throughout this process, we're being really curious. Remembering we've never seen this food before, it's our first time. So what's something that I can notice that's new or different that I've never picked up on before? Over time, you'll start to recognize and can actually experiment with the types of foods that create a different experience for you. So one of the things that I like to do in one of the meditation courses I hold is we have different tastes. So I have something that's sour, something that's sweet, something that's spicy, something that is a chocolate. And I have people bring up a memory, something that's usually moderately distressing, because that's when we're most prone to want to eat to comfort. We bring up a moderately distressing experience, so maybe like a 5 or 6 out of 10 in terms of intensity. We bring the memory up, and we just take a bite or two of that food. Again, enough to generate the taste, and notice what happens in your body. Notice how the experience of this memory changes as you taste this food. There's no right or wrong answer with this, so it'll be really interesting to see what you notice. And you try it for all the different foods. So my own experience is what I notice is when I taste something sweet, and especially if it's a piece of chocolate, that always feels very relieving and comforting to me. However, if I eat something spicy, that actually makes the intensity of the memory feel worse. And if I eat something tangy, pretty neutral. So again, that will be a fun thing for you to experiment this week too. Usually though, what you'll notice when we're actually slowing down and eating more purposefully, more mindfully, is that we only need a bite, a few tastes of something to really get that experience of soothing, comforting, joy, warmth, versus eating the whole thing. So it's common that we'll see on a movie someone plowing through a whole carton of ice cream when they're feeling upset. But usually we might only need a scoop, or we might only need a few bites. And if we're really tasting, savoring, noticing it, you'll find that that actually can feel satisfying. So I want to give you a few tips right now of things you can notice when you are having the desire to eat a little more mindfully. So when I come up with a tip that you find that you really like of this, go ahead and like or heart it so I know that's a favorite for you. Okay, so here's the first one. When you are eating a snack, especially something that has a wrapper, so a piece of chocolate, a piece of candy, it could be something like an orange, anything that you have to remove a wrapper of. Once you eat that food, keep the wrapper on the table. What this helps with is it allows you to notice how much you've actually eaten. Because if we just throw the wrapper away or throw the peel away, we might not realize, oh, I just ate 12 of those versus being able to see the pile there. Another tip to try is actually sitting down. Make sure you only eat when you're actually sitting down and when you can give the food your full attention. So this means not having the TV on, not taking a walk as you're eating a snack, but instead just noticing what am I actually doing and can I give my full attention to this snack. The third tip today is putting a portion on a plate rather than eating out of the food container. So how do I actually put some of my trail mix into a bowl versus just eating out of the whole package? When we're eating out of the full package, you'll find that that's when more of the mindlessness kicks in. We're just on autopilot again, eating and eating versus tasting and savoring. The next one, and this is a shout out to my brother-in-law who gave me this idea, was putting your fork down between each bite. So taste a bit, let it rest, put your fork down, taste a little more. And then the last one is one of my personal favorites. I use this a lot. So one of my favorite things, as you might have noticed, is eating desserts, especially cookies. That's one of my new favorite things. And I'm on the hunt for the favorite cookie shop in Gainesville, so I'll keep you posted about that. So I'll usually allow myself to have a cookie, and then I'll wait a few minutes. If after a few minutes I'm still noticing I feel hungry, or I'm still noticing that desire to eat another cookie, then I will have it. And then you just repeat that process. So instead of just already assuming and shoveling it in, I'm just practicing and slowing the process down. So what I'll post right after this is some steps for mindful eating. So I've given you some general ideas, but now you're going to have some steps you can walk through at your home. So I want you to choose a meal where you can be eating alone or with your family, but where it can be quiet. And I'm going to walk through the steps with you. And again, I'll post this afterwards. So with one meal, this is your challenge until I see you next on Friday. With one meal, I want you to eat mindfully. So step 1, sit down and relax with your food and remove distractions. Step 2, take a few breaths to bring you into the present moment. Step 3, notice your level of hunger or fullness and kind of rate that on a scale of 0 to 10. This will help you to slow down the eating process, to stop when you're full, and to keep eating when you're hungry. Step 4, look closely at the food, noticing the colors, shapes, textures, and sizes as if you've never seen this food before. 5, reflect on where the food has come from and thank the plants and animals represented and all the effort it took to grow and prepare the food, for it to be manufactured or brought and packaged over to the store and then over to your house. 6, carefully smell your food and notice the aromas. 7, place a small piece in your mouth and notice the flavors and textures without chewing. 8, slowly and deliberately chew, experiencing the sensations, textures, or tastes. 9, slowly and gradually swallow, feeling the food as it travels down your body. 10, observe your mind because you'll have the tendency to want to rush or to eat without tasting. So slow it down and see if you can enjoy each taste, each bite with your full attention, as if it were your first bite. And 11, reflect on the experience in your mind and body, noticing what about the experience or taste is different when you slow down the process versus eating so quickly. 12, notice your level of fullness on a scale of 0 to 10. And 13, repeat the steps. What this reminded me of was that very first sip of coffee or tea in the morning where you're holding your warm mug and you have that first sip and it's just like, oh, life is so good. So if we can repeat that throughout the day as we have these other foods that we eat, voila, even better. So thank you, Sages. It was so great to see you today. Go ahead and leave a comment about what you learned or a topic that you'd like for me to cover next time. I'll be replying and reading to every comment, whether you're watching this live or you watch the recording. Join me next on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as I discuss creating a realistic routine during COVID. All right, Sages, have a great week and I'll see you soon. Bye.